started here briefly. I'll just look to IT, we're good. Okay. What's the date? Good evening or good afternoon and welcome to the City Council meeting of December 12th. I'll ask that you all rise in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With flowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to the National Film Board for the images of our country and to our very own Tennille Towns for the singing of our national anthem. I noticed over the weekend that Tennille was part of the Cross Canada Rail celebration where they did concerts in communities across Canada. So she continues to be everywhere, so congrats to her. Looking for the adoption of the previous City Council meeting, Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I'd like to move that Council adopt the minutes of City Council meeting held November 28th, 2022 as presented.
Perfect. As that motion is in order, seeing no one in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Moving to item number 4 of today's agenda, which is the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I move that Council adopt the agenda as presented.
All right, that motion's in order. I see no one in the queue with any additions, so I'll call the question. Please vote. And that too carries unanimously. I am unaware of any delegations that are here today that let us know ahead of time. So I will move on to item number 6, the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee medal presentations. And I'm going to turn this one over to Councillor Bressey.
Well, thank you, Mayor Clayton. I don't even know how aware you are of this agenda item because it concerns you, but we have some members of our organization that were recently awarded the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medal. And members of council and administration thought it would be appropriate to recognize our people who were honored for the community service. And since the medals were awarded through Alberta municipalities and I got to be part of the body that got to make the appointments, I was asked to read some words of recognition for our people. So I think what I'll do is I'll stand up front and I'll invite people one by one to come join me.
Thank you for that. First up is so 2021.
2010 Arctic Winter Games Director of Culture and Services. Mayor Clayton is fiercely proud of her team and works tirelessly to make Grande Prairie an incredible place for all residents.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
And Mayor Clayton did get the top cupcake award yesterday as well.
good to know. And next up, we've got a recipient that can't join us today, but Donna is here. So Donna, why don't you come up on behalf of John? I don't know how you folks want to do this. So, Councillor John Lainers was elected to Grande Prairie City Council. Councillor Lainers was a successful business partner in local engineering. He served nearly 20 years in Grande Prairie. He was appointed to the Alberta Health Sciences. During his brief time on council, before Subdivision, Councillor Lainers thrived due to his fundamental belief in the out-here community. Councillor Lainers was dedicated volunteered for numerous organizations such as Talk, Swan City Road, Heart and Stroke Foundation, Support Victims, Hospice Palliative Care, Sweden with Stars, Grande Prairie Public Board Education Foundation, and the Alberta Of course, us elected folks, so hopefully if you're about to pass by incredible process, we're also very proud. Robert Nicolay is a leader with known and respected for his calm, take ideas and thoughts, actionable, achievable. His leadership style includes strength of teams and fleshly desire to guide the project down sense of responsibility. Robert's helped President Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, Director, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Administrative Officer, City Manager, grow his career in business development. Robert's return to the city of Grande Prairie brought respect for others, willingness to listen, and openness to communication. He has reinstated the staff's pride in being municipal leaders and reminded that the goals are accountable to boost culture. Next, he can't join us today, but we've got Chief Trevin Lawson and Ulrika Godino. Trevin started his career with the Grande Prairie Fire Department, as a volunteer firefighter in 1980. He became a full-time firefighter. Bresseys first-class firefighter in 1986. Trevin is dedicated to 40 years of service as a firefighter, lieutenant, captain, deputy chief fire chief, and Berg Police Fire. Trevin is well known and respected for his dedication, the ability to plan, coordinate, volunteers. The president.
Picture time.
All right, my apologies. My screen was frozen. Anyways, moving on to item number 7. Before we do that, I want to thank Councillor Bressey. The work that Alberta Munis did for a significant part of presentations across Alberta was a large task. So if you could pass on our thank you to the Alberta Munis and their team for hosting the ceremonies as well as executing across the province. It was a big task, so big kudos to them. Moving on to item number 7 under reports 7.1, the Alberta Community Partnership Grant application. And I am now going to turn this over to who's Mr. Nicolay. I apologize. I don't know who's introducing this one.
It's a very good question.
Okay.
I would have thought perhaps these...
So I can give a bit of background
Okay.
to it. But, so during our discussions on the Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee, there was discussion in regards to a grant application for the development of facility usage data. So as we recall from our ICF negotiations and discussions, in the absence of good data, we ended at a number. This grant application would enhance data collection for the next iteration of our RCS and provide an analysis of facility usage across the region, which would in turn better serve us to inform the next ICF. So this is a joint application for funding for the purpose of soliciting services, and I'm looking for a council motion to go ahead and support this application in conjunction with our county partners. Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. I'd love to make that motion. I can read it out if you like. I would move that council support the application for Alberta Community Partnership Grant with the city as the managing partner for the purpose of soliciting professional services for the development of a facility usage data collection and analysis plan that would serve to better inform future ICF and cost-sharing negotiations.
Perfect. Thank you for that. That motion's in order. Any comments or questions on this application or this motion, rather? Seeing none, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Moving on to item 7.2, public member appointments. As you will see in our package, and you've probably seen online, the City of Grande Prairie has numerous committees that we appoint public members to, and today Council will be making several motions in regards to community members that they're appointing to various committees. I will start with Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. Hopefully we can share the load here. I don't want to be reading everything off. Maybe we go down the line, but I would first start off by moving that Council appoint Arzu Mashi, Anela De Ruda, Chloe Watson, Daisy Nellis, Grace Larson, Hennessy De Guzman, Janie Bauman, Jason D'Souza, Julia Izwigo, and Nabil Malik to the Youth Advisory Council for a one-year term, each ending December 31st, 2023. And I apologize if I butchered any of your names.
That motion is in order. Councillor O'Connor, are you just in the queue for the next one, or did you? Okay. So I'll call the question on that motion. And that carries unanimously. Thank you for that. Moving on, Councillor O'Connor.
Yes, Mayor Clayton, I'd like to move that Council appoint Cord Spiro to the Economic Development Strategic Planning and Advisory Committee as the Chamber of Commerce representative for a term from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So the Development Strategic Planning and Advisory Committee has a Chamber of Commerce representative. This is noted as Mr. Cord Spiro and Councillor Pilat. Next one? Okay. I'll call the question on that. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Moving on to item number 3, Councillor Pilat.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. I would make a motion that Council appoint Linda Murphy, Billy Lapp, Karen McGrisson, and Terry Trask to the Assessment Review Board for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. That motion is in order. I will call the question. And that too carries unanimously. Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I move that Council appoint Chad Boone, Yad Minhas, Robin Roshan, and Daryl Stobie to the Combative Sports Commission for a 3-year term, each ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. Thank you for that motion. That motion, my apologies. Our East grab is frozen. I think we're good now. So I'll call the question on that. And that's all right. There we go. Please vote. And that carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 5, Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I would like to move the Council appoint Wara Adekoya, Tammy Brown, and Greg Hearn to the Community Advisory Committee for a 3-year term, each ending December 31st, 2025.
Thank you for that. That motion is in order. I will call the question. Please vote. That carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 6, Councillor O'Toole.
I move the Council appoint Julia Dutove, Francis Fournier, Valerina Granino, Rick Murray, Jody Ann Nicole, and Darren Weigel to the Community Knowledge Campus Advisory Committee for a 3-year term, each ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Councillor O'Toole. And just for those who may be watching at home, you will be notified by administration in case you heard your name not quite right and you're not sure if it's you. We don't mean to do that to your names.
I had the tough ones, okay?
I wasn't indicating just you as individual by any means. So I'll call the question on that. And that carries unanimously. Councillor Pilat, item number 7.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. I'd move that council appoint Lynn Coulter to the Complaint Adjudication Committee for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. That motion is in order. I will call the question. I'll just give it a second, see if it refreshes. If not, oh, here we go. It's winter, it's slow. That carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 8, Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. I would move that council appoint Bernd Mans, Ian Penner, and Scott Bravitz to the Grande Prairie Airport Commission for a 3-year term, each ending December 31st, 2025. And council appoint Catherine Unger to the Grande Prairie Airport Commission for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2024. And council appoint Ryan Chase to the Grande Prairie Airport Commission for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2023.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Councillor Thiessen. That motion with all those items is in order. I'll call the question. Please vote. That carries unanimously. Councillor Blackmore, item number 9.
I actually wanted item number 8. Council appoint Simon Boson, Erica Fisher, and Yad Minhas to the Grande Prairie Library Board for a 3-year term, each ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. Thank you for that. That motion is in order. I'll call the question. Please vote. That carries unanimously. Councillor O'Connor, item number 10.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I'd like to move that council appoint Peter Ma to the Municipal Policing Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. Thank you for that motion. That motion is in order. Call the question. Carries unanimously. Councillor Blackmore.
I would move that council appoint Lynn Coulter and Terry Sudnick to the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board for a 3-year term, each ending December 31st, 2025.
Perfect. Thank you for that. That motion is in order. I'll call the question. And it's carried unanimously. Thank you for that work, Council. Moving on to item number 8, under committee business. First item of business today is the Invest GP Committee, a committee meeting held December 6th, and I will look to Councillor Pilat.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. I'd just like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of the City of GP Invest GP Committee from December 6th, 2022 as presented.
Perfect. That motion's in order. Seeing no one in the queue with any errors, I'll call the question. That carries unanimously. Any highlights from your meeting, Councillor Pilat?
I did want to highlight a few things. Over the last couple of weeks, we'd had 12 small businesses open, which is always exciting to hear in Grande Prairie. The city has qualified 98 businesses for their rural residential stream, which we're having really good uptake and success with. And I constantly hear from business community how much they're enjoying this program. It was nice to see the Growing the North conference is going to happen February 21st to 2020 to the 23rd in 2023. And their early bird registration is open for that. Under events and entertainment, we had 2 sold-out shows over that week at the Bonnet Center with Cirque Holiday Dreams and Boney M. So that's my report.
Thanks for that, Councillor Pilat. Moving on to item point 8.2, the Strategy and Communication Standing Committee meeting held December 6th. Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I would like to make a motion that council accept the minutes from the December 6th meeting of the Strategy and Communication Services Committee.
Perfect. That motion is in order. I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Any highlights from your meeting, Councillor Berg?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Clayton. A few. City Clerk Administration is conducting a full scan and update on bylaws and policies stored in the bylaw library to reflect current bylaws and policies. Also, corporate communications, branding strategy RFP has closed. An amazing response, 14 proposals submitted. Evaluation is ongoing. Administration, in conjunction with MNP, will be launching a public engagement campaign on local policing priorities and perspectives. An online survey will be is available with in-person consultations set for the new year. And corporate marketing. We all just celebrated 10 years with the Eastlink Center, and the Eastlink Center now moves on to Life is Movement marketing campaign. It's set to launch right away. Work continues on marketing for other events as well.
Thank you for that update, Councillor Berg. Moving on to item 8.3, the Operational Services Standing Committee meeting of December 6th, and I'll look to Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I move that Council adopt the minutes of the Operational Services Committee meeting held December 6, 2022, as presented.
All right, that motion is in order. Seeing no one in the queue, I'll call the question. Please vote. That carries unanimously. And Councillor Bosch, you have some business arising from your committee meeting.
That's right. We have the snow and ice control policy to move on. Here, hang on, I lost it.
So it's just amendments to policy 606.
And here we go. I move that Council approve amendments to policy 606, the snow and ice control policy.
So an opportunity for comments or questions. Councillor Bressey.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I'd actually like to move an amendment, and that would be under transit stops. I would move the council amend the transit stops provision to add a bullet point saying the transportation director and the transit director may reprioritize transit stops to adapt to changing demand. And just to speak to this, when we adopt this policy, administration has to do what we tell them to do through policy. And I am concerned that I think it's appropriate that council sees a map of what they consider priority, not priority, but that also might change as time moves. For example, we heard at committee that if there's a user or two who's using a non-priority stop but has mobility issues, that they'd consider reprioritizing that stop to meet the demands of that one user. And I think that's very appropriate. I also don't think that has to come to council to happen. And so I think for me, it makes sense to give permission to administration to be flexible in what's a priority stop, what's not a priority stop. Add under transit stops, the transportation director and the transit director may reprioritize transit stops to adapt to changing demand.
All right, so that amendment to this is in order. Comments or questions on the amendment? Councillor Thiessen.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. I knew this was coming, Councillor Bressey. I wasn't sure how it was coming, but I guess I'm just questioning why we're adding a full bullet point. Like the last bullet point there says, ice control at transit stops is conducted as required and determined by the transportation director. I mean, if we added snow and ice control at transit stops, it would, in my opinion, essentially do the same thing without having to add in a full extra bullet point, and while also giving our administration and transit managers the latitude to request certain stops be cleaned sooner. So I don't know if, to me, it seems like it's already taken care of. But if we add like snow and ice control, it would probably supplant that whole bullet point that you're adding.
Councillor Bressey, did you have any comments in regards to whether or not, with the addition of snow, if that would suffice in regards to what you're hoping to gain here today?
Not really. I think the point is, as the policy stands, we're approving a map, and I think that when we approve a map, we expect administration to live by that map unless we've given specific flexibility to not live by that map. So I still think that the amendment is a good one personally.
Councillor Blackmore.
Councillor Bressey just made my point for me. Plus, this is, although it's not worded in here, it's really referring to as needs change at every bus stop, and refers, we understand that the primary need that's going to be changing is people with mobility issues.
All right, seeing no one else in the queue, this will be a call to question on the amendment, which is to add the item as Councillor Bressey put forward. So I'll call the question. Please vote on the amendment or the addition. And that is carried 8-1. Now I will just double check in case there's any further comments or questions on the newly amended policy 606. Seeing no one in the queue, I apologize, I don't recall, but Councillor Bosch, did you see anything further to add to this, or are you good if I call the question?
No, I'm good if you call the question. I just think that just the A and B routes that were allocated this year versus other years, that the public takes note of those changes. And all of this is on our website, right, as far as the changes, the mapping, everything. So I would just urge you to take a look when your snowplow is coming.
And even a really nice colored brochure came out in the mail last week. I saw it with an explanation of the A and B. So anyways, I'll call the question. Please vote.
Check my mail.
And that carries unanimously. Councillor Bosch, any highlights from your meeting?
Yes, we have a few. Thanks to Chief Operating Officer Mr. Glavin and staff for the update. The RFPs have closed for the intersection improvement studies for 108 and 100 Ave and 116th Avenue and 100th Street, and for the RFP on the preliminary design of 84th Street between 100 Avenue and 132nd Avenue. There is a new flow rider pump and ride surface that was installed at Eastlink last week, a couple of weeks ago. Snow crews are patrolling and plowing, sanding, etc. That's pretty clear to anybody who's out on the roads to see that. And fun for the kids, Muskogee Pond is now open for skating. I'd like to say thank you to Robert Carroll, who has been the Director of Transportation and Parks for 16 years. And I wish you and your wife just a wonderful retirement. I don't think you're going to retire. You're going to be busy as you are here, but nonetheless, a different busy. And thank you for everything that you have done for the City of Grande Prairie and our residents. Thank you on behalf of myself and the Downtown Association for everything you've done for me. You've always been one text away, so I appreciate that. And someone who just does what needs to be done. And I can tell you I appreciate that greatly. So on behalf of everyone here in council, thank you for all your years of service to us.
Thanks for that, Councillor Bosch, and congratulations, Councillor. There you go. You got a new job already. Who said you were retiring? Right. Mr. Carroll, anyways, best of luck in your future endeavors. I'm sure you'll be at a few bicycle races, and you enjoy that and enjoy what the future holds for you. All right, moving on to item 8.4, the Financial and Administrative Services Standing Committee meeting of December 6th, and I'll look to Councillor Blackmore for.
And I would ask Council to approve the minutes of that meeting.
Perfect. That motion is in order. And that carries unanimously. Any highlights from your meeting, Councillor Blackmore?
Well, of course, it is a busy city department, like all of our city departments are. So assessment and taxation is busy rolling out and inspecting permits from now until early January to assess taxation conditions. Administration is working with the communications team to release the budget book, which should be coming out momentarily. went out already. I didn't want to say that in case it, got held up. But so if you're interested in the city budget, you can find it on our website. Administration has hosted 2 workshops this past week to overview the responsibility of evaluation requests for proposals and focusing on helping to facilitate meaningful debriefs for unsuccessful bidders, and a workshop with the Surety Association of Canada regarding performance bonds and labor and material bonds. So hopefully our procurement process will be a little more clear to those people both who are successful and are not successful in their bids. The City View upgrade has been completed for GIS, which offers a more modern, user-friendly interface for permits and inspections. And we were presented by administration. Administration presented us with our unaudited financial statements and supporting information for the quarter ending September 30th, 2022. And we maintain a net financial asset position and accumulated surplus. So things in the city are going well.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Councillor Blackmore. Moving on to item 8.5, the Public and Protective Services Standing Committee meeting of December 6th. And I will look to Councillor Bressey for introduction.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I would move the council adopt the minutes of the Public and Protective Services Committee meeting held December 6, 2022 as presented.
All right, that motion is in order. I will call the question. That carries unanimously. And Councillor Bressey, you have a couple items of business.
Yeah, thank you. I would move the council approve the reallocation of 2022 approved funds as follows: $15,000 in 2022 sport hosting funding to be used for sport hosting funding in 2023, $25,000 in Arts Development Festival funding to be used for sport hosting funding in 2023, and $30,000 in Neighborhood Association funding to be used for community building opportunities in 2023. And just speak to this when it comes to events and funding, there still is some backlog from COVID when events and community activities couldn't happen. And so there's previously allocated funding that hasn't been used, but we're really confident it can be well used in the next year to get some new events going on in the community and help some legacy events be bigger and better than ever. So I hope the council will support this.
Right. That motion is in order. I don't see anybody in the queue with comments or questions, so I will call the question. Please vote. That carries unanimously. Councillor Bressey, you had another item of business.
Yeah, thank you. I'd move the council give first readings Bylaw C-1454, being a bylaw to designate the Grande Prairie Courthouse 1957 as a municipal historic resource as presented.
Perfect. That motion is in order. That is first reading of the bylaw. No discussion or debate. I'll call the question. Please vote. And that carries unanimously. Councillor Bressey.
Thank you. I'd move the council give second readings Bylaw C-1454 and just speak to it. This is a beautiful building in our downtown core that's one of our older buildings. It adds some great flavor to the community. I know when I was in Grande Prairie for about 6 weeks, I discovered it for the first time and thought, wow, Grande Prairie has a building like that. That's so cool. And so personally, I think it adds a lot of character to our downtown core. And making this designation will make sure that it gets protected, but also might open up funding that might otherwise be unavailable to us to take care of this historic resource. So I hope that council will support this.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Councillor Bressey. Discussion or debate on second reading of Bylaw C-1454. Seeing none, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Councillor Bressey.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I move the council have third reading of Bylaw C-1454 at this meeting.
That motion is in order. In order for us to have third reading here tonight, this must pass unanimously. I'll call the question. Please vote. And that carries unanimously. Councillor Bressey.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I would move the council give third readings Bylaw C-1454, being a bylaw to designate the Grande Prairie Courthouse 1957 as a municipal historic resource as presented.
Right, that motion is in order. Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I just want to speak in favor of this. As I mentioned in committee, I'll just mention it here at council. Our municipal neighbors, Sexsmith and the county, have been keeping up on their inventory and designating their buildings as they go along. I felt for years the Grande Prairie has lagged behind, and this is a great first step for the city to designate our third building as a historical resource. There's a number of private buildings that have been flagged that could be designated, and so hopefully this process will show these business and building owners that it is an easy process, that there is value to it, and that there may also be money attached to it as a historic resource as they want to fix these buildings up going forward. So I just want to speak in favor of this, and I'll be voting in favor.
Perfect. Thank you for that comment. Seeing no one else in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Councillor Bressey, any highlights from your meeting?
Great. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Committee did get to receive its quarterly updates that it gets from Mobile Outreach Enforcement Services and the RCMP, and there's always good information in those things, but there's also a lot of information, so I won't go over them now, but encourage folks to go back and watch the meeting, or even better, read the agenda package from the meeting so you can see the written reports. One thing I will highlight from those reports, though, is that this year there has been an increased focus on enforcement of snow bans so that we can appropriately clear our residential roads, with about 200 violation tickets given out to date. So we don't like to give out those tickets, but we also like to make sure your neighbors can get in and out of their streets. So please do pay attention for when those snow bans are in place. The one other piece of committee work that I'll update council on is Councillor O'Connor did bring up AISH transit passes for dependents of folks on AISH, and also there's conversation about maybe there should be a relook at the fees for children that use transit. And so we did ask for more information from administration, and that's a conversation committee will be continuing in the new year.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Councillor Bressey. Moving on our agenda, item number 9, there was no correspondence, no delegation business tonight, no notices of motion. We will not be having a recess, and therefore I will now move to council member reports. Who has the most Christmas candy for me? They can go first. All right, Councillor Bosch, you can go first because you have none. I don't need any more.
Oh, wow. That worked out. Okay. So for me, wasn't quite as busy as the last time around, but nonetheless quite busy. November 29th, an evening with the mayor and council at the Grande Prairie Friendship Center. That was really nice to get together and have the Friendship Center hear what we're doing as a city, and in turn have an open dialogue to questions and concerns that they may possibly have. So that was really good. There was a little earthquake in there, great dinner, all in all, fun night. Next, December 1st. I think for Mayor Clayton, I think anything that could have gone on that day to cause her a barrier to get to the Chamber of Commerce AGM actually happened. So not one thing, another. So as Deputy Mayor, I had the extreme privilege of swearing in Cindy Park as the chair of the Chamber of Commerce at the AGM celebration. Cindy happens to also be my twin sister, so it was a remarkable experience. A little funny, a little odd. It was, I made sure I told her I was 10 minutes older, so I got to do that. So I'm going to...
Wiser, I heard.
Oh.
It's wiser, too.
Okay, I'll take that one, too. Yeah. So anyway, that is, I'm sure that, I don't know, power is stronger than me, and Mayor Clayton put that one together. So that was a one in a lifetime. Next, I was among council who celebrated the International Day for Persons with Disabilities. We had a lunch and presentation. Congratulations to the winners of those awards. That was a nice afternoon, albeit super cold. December 3rd, Bonnie M. I have to tell you, that was cool. Yes, it was super cool. They have had platinum records for over 40 years in Canada only. So the only country in the world that they've gone platinum for 40 years in a row. So, you know, little kids singing. My kids grew up with that music. It was awesome. Super awesome. Next, the meet and greet with Council and CANFOR, Sport Connection, Strategic Direction, or Strategic Planning meeting, the Art Gallery Christmas Party, Aquaterra Recycling Workshop, meeting our new members of our corporate community here in the city. Thank you for taking the chance on coming to Grande Prairie, and I think you'll stay. I know you'll stay. And Community Futures Christmas Party as well. And then a special thank you to all of council that made it to the Downtown Association Mixer held at Grant Berg Gallery, which is a lovely venue to host a mixer at. So, yeah, it was busy, but everybody was busy. So that's all. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Clayton. So as far as my last couple of weeks, Councillor Bosch touched on a couple, but Grande Prairie Regional Tourism, I sat in on one of their meetings. They have been given somewhat of a new mandate. So far it's been around promotion, but now what they, along with Travel Alberta, want to do is find opportunities where they can help develop tourism opportunities throughout the region in a variety of different sectors. So it's something new and exciting from Travel Alberta, and it was great to be in that meeting as we explore different ideas and how to make that happen for entrepreneurs and communities alike. Attended the Eastlink event yesterday, 10th anniversary. I did not win the cupcake decorating competition, although a lot of people had their money bet on me. But cupcake is not my usual medium of sculpture, so I failed miserably.
We were alienated. We were alienated.
Yeah, attended the Volunteer Services Breakfast and Awards. Thank you to Councillor O'Toole and his Rotary team for making a wonderful breakfast for us. And also congratulations to Councillor Bressey for being one of those that won Outstanding Citizen of the Year. So congratulations there. Attended the Chamber AGM, which was always a great time, and attended Latitude 55's opening in a former city building, the old fire hall. So that was a nice evening in there. Add something really new and dynamic to the city and to the downtown core. And that's my report.
Thanks for that, Councillor Berg. Councillor O'Toole.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. Just some business for the city-appointed stuff. I went to the Community Futures Transition and New Board Member Orientation meeting. That went really well. And then a couple days later, we had the Christmas supper to all the staff and past board members. ABMA, Alberta Bilingual Municipalities Association, we had a short meeting basically to go over some information that we were supposed to fill out. Mine is filled out. And we knew we had an introduction to all of the members, our newly hired office manager, and she's a real firecracker. She's going to be able to get things done. I also so that was my business. Grande Prairie Family Education Society, I went to their open house. Latitude 55, once again, it was a great event. I also attended the Decoy Armory Hub project, which I'm a board member on. And community-wise, I worked 3 shifts for the Salvation Army Kettle Campaign over the last couple of weeks. IDPD, the speaker come in. His name is Jason Crawford. We decided that we were going to take him out for dinner. Being a blind individual that had vision at birth and visually lost his vision over the years, he turned to music, and he's a rap star. So I went out to dinner with a major Canadian influence in rap music, which was pretty cool. The next day, we had our celebration lunch, which he spoke. On that Sunday, after that, we went to the Grande Prairie Museum, and we had an interest. I gave greetings on behalf of the mayor and council, but Mother Earth Boreal Beauty hosted this event, this was the event for this book, and it's a combination of a number of artists, photographers in the Peace Country, and I did not know that we were going to get a concert out of it, but it was a fantastic music played and voices, but it was something that you're not sure what you're going to when you go, but you want to see stuff happen, and both Michael Connor and I our socks were blown off just by the stuff that was going on there. I attended the International Volunteer Breakfast. I wasn't out in the crowd. I was in the back that was stated. Enjoyed every minute of it. We had a meet and greet with Canfor. We had a workshop with Aquaterra on recycling. And the city hosted a meet and greet with new staff and directors, which we're getting some great people in to fill some vacancies. And we also had a workshop for a municipal development plan, and also, I'm not going to complain, but I made a Christmas log, and according, it was a cupcake decorating thing, and I wasn't even mentioned. So, but congratulations to the mayor. Thank you very much. That's my report.
Councillor O'Connor.
Wow. Anyway, thank you very much. I made a rocket out of cupcakes, and it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen at the end of the day. But anyway, on a serious note, we had an evening with Grande Prairie Friendship Center, and Mayor Clayton brought greetings and shared all the things that the city has been doing over the past year, and like they were in awe. And they also shared with us, Len Auger and Miranda also shared the things that they were doing. So it's something that we need to repeat and work with on reconciliation. And it was a great, great experience. Went to the Grande Prairie Family Education Society, and they had not met for 2.5 years, and they were just bubbling over, just with all the excitement. Then the annual Chamber of Commerce AGM and awards and salute, and to watch Cindy and Wendy beside each other, that was worth the price of admission. Went to a number of others. Mother Earth Boreal book signing. The book weighs 5.5 pounds. Trust me, it's well worth the read, and if you'll get exercise reading it. And one of the hits for me this week was Aquaterra and their recycling. I did not know that any size of battery can cause a fire in the dump. And landfill. Landfill, I'm not paying any money. Anyway, and that I found out that you're not supposed to put pizza boxes in the dump because of their landfill. Oh my God. It's recycling. Anyway,
No, other way around. Just because you're teaching people who may be watching a lesson, Councillor O'Connor, what did you learn about pizza boxes?
They're contaminated, and you put them in the landfill.
They can't go in your cardboard recycling.
They can't go in cardboard recycling. You repeat after me. I think I got it. And then the two highlights of the last week was attending the social clubs, sleigh rides, and hot chocolate. They had food, and I helped the photographer and drove everybody absolute crazy. And it was fun. And then we just had the first floor put on the social lunch, Christmas lunch, and I have to put it to the social committee and Sean and her people. They did an amazing job. It was so much fun. So kudos to you. This city is alive and well. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for that. Councillor Bressey.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. The only one I'll re-mention that's already been mentioned a couple times was the evening with the Friendship Center, and a specific request that I thought was interesting there was, hey, would there ever be any consideration to a permanent Treaty 8 and Métis flag in front of City Hall? I think that's something we should consider in the future. Also note there's probably room for 2 more flags behind the mayor, just saying. And so that's a conversation that I look forward to maybe having in the future. A couple things that I was at and nobody else wasn't council, it was personal, but I got to go to my first ever soccer tournament, and it was in the leisure hall, or in the leisure center. And I'm going to miss that good of seating. I don't know if we'll ever have that good of seating again, but it was fun seeing that building full for a last time for me. I've been in it, it was full before. It was fun seeing it full one last time before it goes. But the best/worst part of the last couple weeks for me was I attended Bob Dufeld's funeral yesterday. And I think the fact that there were 400 people crammed into a room to be part of his service really shows the big impact he had on this community. I was aware of the stuff he did for outdoor ed, pioneering curriculum that's been adopted as far away as Australia. I was aware of him founding Camp Wapiti, instructing at Nighthawk downhill skiing until he was 92 years old. I was aware of his very deep commitment to McLaurin Baptist Church. What I wasn't aware of is the Kakwa protected area. All started on a July 1st Grande Prairie parade when Bob, with his dog, pulled a red wagon that had the Protection of Wolves Society sign on it. And I didn't know that he was the person that got that area protected. And when the federal government wanted to bring the whole world to it, said, buzz off, that's for us. And so he's made so many contributions to the community, and really thankful for the life of him in June. So it was really great and sad to remember the contribution he's made. Also, council should be aware, I've already had 3 different people in the neighborhood come up to me and say we need to do something in Avondale Park. And so I think you're going to be hearing some neighborhood people coming forward asking for permission to do something in that park.
Thanks for that, Councillor Bressey. Councillor Blackmore.
Just add a comment to Councillor Bressey's remarks just now. You know, when someone is 93 years old and has spent their whole life in a community and had such a major impact, you know, the outdoor ed program, my husband was one of the first students that was in that program, and he was amazed to discover fairly recently that that wasn't like a universally accepted thing, that it was a pioneering approach to phys ed education that he was part of. So you know, we as a community will certainly miss Bob Neufeld. He was a wonderful man and a great ambassador for Grande Prairie. Most of the things that I've done over the last 2 weeks have been discussed thoroughly at this point. I'm only going to mention a couple. The International Day for Persons with Developmental Disabilities. I really enjoyed that luncheon. I was disappointed to see that there was not a lot more people there, because I know that it's hard to find a family anywhere that is not personally affected by someone in their family who has developmental disabilities. So I was disappointed that the room wasn't full. But it was nevertheless a wonderful luncheon, and thank you for inviting council to that. And I want to also mention the Downtown Association Christmas Mixer that was held at Councillor Berg's gallery. There was about 40 people altogether who were there off and on, and it's a beautiful venue. And you know, I'm sure that Councillor Berg would be open to other events being hosted there. And one more night at the Eastling Center, where several of us decorated cupcakes. 2 of us decorated them better than the rest.
Yes, agreed. Councillor Pilat.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. I think I have 8 or 9 events that I won't list either that everybody else has brought up. But the one that I guess the couple that I'll highlight is in this room, actually, we had a city potluck with with the staff at City Hall put on by the first floor. And I thought it was really neat. And for me, it was just, it's nice seeing everybody sitting at their tables, what areas they work, but the teasing and the camaraderie that was happening, I thought was really cool. And it was a great opportunity, and probably one of the best meals I've had of the year, to be honest. Like, it was amazing. So that, and then I guess some external meetings. I had a really interesting meeting with our executive director of soccer and Karna from Sport Council with all these, concerns around those facilities. It always amazes me with Karna with Sport Council, her positive attitude and just willing to meet and just a wealth of knowledge. So I want to thank her for that. And then lastly, I had an interesting meeting with a nurse and an internal medicine doctor on the weekend around AHS, and that conversation was great, and look forward to having a chat with council. But I guess for this roundtable, because we've talked so much about all the events we were at, I had 3 really good meetings that were preempted by individuals that just contacted a council person, which I think, for me, I want to encourage more. I think that we all do that, I realize, and we always report on our external things we do that we get invited to. But I think it's important for the community to know how often we meet with individuals just because they have concerns, and that we want to let them have that opportunity to speak to us. So 3 people that I really want to thank for doing that with me the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so that Councillor Pilat, Councillor Thiessen.
Oh, Mayor Clayton, you're going to be surprised, but I got nothing to add to the conversation. All right, I'll figure something out. But I just wanted to spare us all the redundancy, but here, I'll show this here. I don't know if it'll show up. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, that was my cupcake. Look up on the screen. It's a snowman. That should have won. I don't know how Gladys's little sprinkle cupcake did so well.
You know that the cupcake contest was based on representing the 10-year celebration of Eastlink, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just also creativity was part of the marking quadrants, and if you notice, there's 10 little purple dollops on the bottom for 10 years of the Eastlink Center. Anyways,
it fell over.
I think that it had to look edible when you were done. I think that was part of the criteria.
Didn't.
It was so heavy it fell over.
The rules. Hey, this is my roundtable, yos.
Please continue.
Anyways, the person who won, should have won, did win. That was Mayor Clayton, so congratulations. And the person who should have got second did win second. That was Councillor Blackmore, and all of us other guys were just stooges. So I wanted to be at the Christmas party this last Friday. I usually make an appearance. The only time I ever missed was when I got in a car accident, and then when I thought I was going to miss, I came in here and I prevented the whole City Hall from burning down in 2019. It's just somebody wasn't paying attention to a burner. Councillor Thiessen just happened to be there. I wanted to be there this time, and they're hoping I'd help chaperone fire, but they said they had firefighters on staff at this time around, so I didn't go. Instead, I was meeting with Grant Spirit Foundation to do the 360 review of the entire organization, our CAO, and otherwise. But other than that, 'tis the season. I'm looking at my calendar for next week, and this week has been populated with a lot of Christmas parties. This week coming up, we have even more Christmas parties, including one with CLT staff and council here coming up just as a final farewell for this last council meeting. So I guess I'll take the opportunity before the mayor finishes us off here and just wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and hold the ones you love extra tight this year, because we all need a little extra love in our life. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Thiessen. I'm not going to identify things that have already taken place. I will mention a few items, though. I had an opportunity to have breakfast with one of the newest Aquaterra board members, which was great to see how he's transitioning onto that board, as well as I wanted to thank council for supporting me and in attending the evening at the Friendship Center. I think it's great as we get out there and share more about the significant and valuable work we're doing in our region. So I really appreciate when they're able to show up and support me on that endeavor. Also, I represented the City of Grande Prairie at a leadership retreat at University of Alberta in the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry, and to talk about how that faculty can do a better job of serving the north and rural areas across Alberta in our need for more healthcare professionals. It was a very good conversation, and I wanted to thank them for inviting me. Also that day, I had an opportunity to meet with Minister Milliken, the Minister of Mental Health, and his Chief of Staff, as well as the Premier's Chief of Staff, to talk about our needs in this region, our significant mental health support needs. I raced back to Grande Prairie as legally as I could, and got to Grande Prairie to attend the Chamber AGM. Went to the wrong hotel, Went to a Filipino Christmas party, which was great. They were very happy to see me. It was very unfortunate when I explained to them that I couldn't dance with them and I was not supposed to be there. So, and I went to the chamber swearing in and was able to be there for the business presentation. So congratulations to former councillor Mr. Monroe for his business award, as well as Barstow and Associates. And one more I missed. And no, not that night. That was at the volunteers. Nope. Anyways, congratulations to those, and I apologize who I missed. Also, last week, I think it was, I went back to Edmonton with, pardon me? Oh, Chris Cipolla, our very own Chris Cipolla. So she won the Clemmy Collins Award, which I too have won that award, and I can tell you it's for Volunteer of the Year for Chamber of Commerce. So it's somebody who gives their time and their heart to the chamber. So congratulations to Chris Cipolla, who now is a very valuable city employee. So great honors to her. Last week I had the opportunity to go back to Edmonton and meet with the mid-sized city mayors. The executive, there was 5 of us representing Airdrie, Cochrane, Leduc, Spruce Grove, and myself. We met with 11 chiefs of staff, which was a great opportunity. I wanted to thank CEO Nicolay and our own chief of staff, Ms. McEachran, for supporting me in that. It was a great meeting with valuable discussion, followed by a brief meeting with Minister Horner to talk about agricultural and agribusiness opportunities in the region, as well met with Minister Schultz to talk about municipal affair needs in our region and across the province. So a very full day and great discussions. Thankful to talk with Tara for the recycling conversation in the workshop. It was a good day. I had an opportunity to do a year in review at the Eastlink Community TV studio, which I hadn't been to before, so thank you to them for asking me. I always love talking about our community, and it was a great time to be able to talk about some of the work we've done this year. I wanted to thank our administration and the great staff at the Eastlink Centre for trying to harness our energy yesterday at the One More Night, a 10-year celebration of the Eastlink Centre. It was there was a lot of activity happening there. There was a lot of energy. I heard that the day was just bustling all day, but and I was told by a judge that I didn't win just because I was the mayor. So I believe him. Yeah. I do want to make note, as you head into the holiday season, there's free skating this weekend at the Design Works Arena. So take your family, get out there on Sunday, December 18th. But mostly, I wanted to remind people to take the time with their family and friends this holiday season. If possible, and you're in the position, please donate to the many needy charities in our community right now. If you don't have the opportunity to give your money, please give your time. I know they need your support. Most of all, give your heart to your community, give a hug to a friend, and really, I just want to thank you all, wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I look forward to an excellent 2023. With that, I'll say meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.